Hello students, good evening. Welcome to Astra, the daily current affairs exclusively for Prelims 2023. This will be the current affairs for UPSC students as well as for those who are preparing for APPSC Group 1 National and International Current Affairs. Now, this is 3rd of October 2022. Let's quickly discuss what are the current affairs that we have. So, from the Hindu, Telangana scoops or takes away the first prize in Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2022 awards. So this is in the Swachh Sarvekshan Awards of Gramin, Telangana has got the first prize. Let's know what about these prizes are. Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin Awards. Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin Awards. The first state to get it is Telangana state ranked first, followed by Haryana, followed by Tamil Nadu. These are the first three states. Remember, now what is this Swachh Bharat Mission or Swachh Bharat Mission rural component? Now this is the second phase of the mission which is going on. The second phase is from 2020-21 to 2024-25. Now funding pattern for this Swachh Bharat Mission is 60:40, and between all the states, for northeastern states this is 90:10, and for union territories 100% implemented by Ministry of by central government. So Swachh Bharat Mission, no need to remember that. Remember, in the Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan, Telangana topped first, followed by Haryana, followed by Tamil Nadu. After this, who is the implementing agencies? Swachh Bharat Mission has two components. Urban component is by MEHUA, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, whereas the rural component, it is being implemented by Ministry of Jal Shakti. This is something which is important. So there are Swachh Bharat Mission has two components. Just remember, urban component, rural component. Urban component is implemented by MEHUA. Rural component is implemented by Ministry of Jal Shakti. So this is the two things that you have to know. Now, NRIs to benefit from UAE's new policy on immigration. Now the question will be, recently which country has launched new immigration policy? That is United Arab Emirates. Just a direct question. For APPSC this will be asked. For UPSC, what you have to focus is UAE borders. Right, this is second thing that is important from here. Recently, the Reserve Bank of India has increased 50 basis points in its monetary policy committee. Now this question is, or this article is speaking about what is the reason behind this interest rates hike. Now this interest rate is hiked just to save the common man from the so-called increasing inflation crisis. Now the question will be in prelims, how inflation can be controlled by rising the interest rates. Obviously, when interest rates are raised, inflation is going to be controlled. This is called tight money policy of RBI. So in this, what is inflation, you have to know which type of inflation is being monitored by Indian government. This is CPI combined is monitored by CPI combined. Headline inflation is monitored by Monetary Policy Committee. Right, it has to maintain inflation within a band of 4 plus or minus 2%. Right, this is what inflation is. Now recently 5G, fifth generation spectrums were launched by Prime Minister, and 5G is going to be in the new domain in telecommunications. Now in this effort, there is one project called Electromagnetic Fields Project, International Efforts, International Electromagnetic Project, Electromagnetic Field. Now this electromagnetic field project has studied about what is the impact of electromagnetic radiations on the so-called Earth, right? The project investigates the health impacts of electromagnetic fields in the frequency range of 0 to 300 hertz, gigahertz, because this is gigahertz where we are going to launch 5G. As a result, way back, the WHO in 1996 has conducted this project, and it said what is the impact of electromagnetic radiations on human health. So just remember whose project is this. Electromagnetic Fields Project is the project of WHO. So this is the question that you have for prelims. Now recently, Russia is again in the news for bad reasons altogether. It has annexed 4 parts of Ukraine into this. So what are the 4 parts? Just remember this. Crimea, it was annexed by Russia way back in 2014, and since then you have the so-called Russia was under sanctions of the West. Until 2014, it was called as G8 group. After that, it is called as G7 group. Russia was taken out. Now, what is the important things are? They might ask these areas, and they might say what are those. So the areas that are annexed by Russia is Kherson, Kherson, Zaporozhia, next Donetsk, Luhansk. Donetsk, Luhansk. Remember Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson. These are the four places which was annexed by Russia with a referendum. Now Ukraine said that this is such as terrorism because annexing some other country, it called as terrorism. Now for prelims, they might ask these four are in news related to which place, Ukraine. The second thing is look at these straits in the Black Sea. Sea of Azov, Black Sea, right? You have a look at it and look at the straits that are connected. That is important for prelims. India abstains now. As Russia has annexed this, USA has passed a resolution along with Albania in the United Nations Security Council to call for the members to vote against Russia. In this voting, again, India has abstained. UNSC resolution voting. Remember, India has abstained from voting when Russia has started war with Ukraine way back in February 2022. This is the second abstention that India has made on United Nations Security Council resolution. Now the reasons which are annexed, I already said, Kherson, Zaporozhia, Luhansk, Donetsk. Now under this place called Zaporozhia, there is nuclear power plant, nuclear power station. Now this is under threat. Okay, remember that also. Now India has not voted against Russia, but it has abstained from voting. Now what is this voting? This voting is to know whether to call for the country member states to criticize Russia for annexation of these lands. Along with Russia, you have some other councils, some other countries like North Korea. You have China who have not voted against Russia. Now again, coming to from Black Sea, we will enter into this sea that is called the Baltic Sea. Why it is in news? Today newspaper carried Nord Stream pipelines. They might ask this question. Nord Stream pipelines are in news. What are those Nord Stream pipelines? These are the two pipelines which were laid in the Baltic Sea, and they are connecting Russia with Europe. Now from Russia to Europe, this is the gas pipeline. These two are the gas pipelines which are carrying that gas that is called methane gas, natural gas. Natural gas is composed by methane, right? Now this is being carried here. Now there was a leak, that is why it is in news. Now this has been operational in 2011 and the other one was constructed. Nord Stream pipeline 2 was constructed in 2021 and 2011. These are the things. This is in operation. This is not yet in operation. Now what they will ask is, they might ask what are the Baltic states, Nordic states or Scandinavian states, are all same. So the Scandinavian states are Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland. So Nordic countries, these four are called as Nordic countries, right? Now Baltic countries are these countries: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. This is Baltic Sea. So just remember what are those Scandinavian states, Nordic states, Baltic states. Now Scandinavian states, Norway states, no need to remember this, just remember the borders of this. Now it is flowing through this area. That is what you have to remember. Next, the race to provide exhaustive satellite broadband services in India. Now this is for mains, but for prelims what they will ask is, what are the advantages of satellite based broadband? What are the disadvantages of satellite based broadband? Now the advantages of satellite based broadband is, they are located in low earth orbit. As a result, they will have lower latency period. This is first advantage for prelims, right? They might ask for prelims. And second one is, they are going to have good demand in India, and it is going to solve natural infrastructural problems like in the 5G connection, such as fiber requirement. This is going to be solved. Now These two are advantages. However, the disadvantages of this are, now it is going to minimize the so-called digital divide also. This is going to reduce digital divide in the country, because even the remotest of the places can be connected. So these are the four areas. One is low latency is first plus point of this. The second plus point is no requirement of fiber. As a result, it can be connected to unserved areas and underserved areas where it is very difficult to reach, that is in hilly terrains it can be reached. The fourth thing is it is going to reduce digital divide in the country. All these are positives of satellite based communication, whereas the limitations of this are data transfer is slow. That is what you have to remember, because the distance that the signal has to pass is through satellite, and then it has to return to earth. As a result, data transfer is slow. The second one is, as if it is clouded, if there is some foliage, a thick foliage, if you are standing under a thick tree, then signals might not reach. So this is second problem of this. And the third one is, beyond certain latitudes it cannot reach, right? Beyond 62 degrees latitude it cannot reach. So these are the negatives that it has. So remember what are the positives and what are the negatives of satellite based broadband services. Just remember that. Now, after this, this woman was in news. So for regional current affairs, they might ask this. So she was the lady known as Giorgia Meloni. Remember the name Giorgia Meloni. Now she is going to become the president of Italy. Now which party she heads? She heads a party called the Brothers of Italy Party. The Brothers of Italy Party, founded in 2012. So don't confuse, though the name is Brothers, now a woman is heading it. So don't confuse that, right? So Brothers of Italy Party, remember the name Giorgia Meloni. Giorgia Meloni is relating to Italy. Stockholm Convention is in news. Just remember what is Stockholm Convention. Stockholm Convention is to fight against persistent organic pollutants. Persistent organic pollutants are those pollutants which will remain persistent in the atmosphere and which is going to cause severe damage to the health of the people. So Stockholm Convention is related to reducing this POP, Stockholm POP. Now recently it has listed dichlorane plus, a flame retardant, and UV328 as Annex 1 countries under Stockholm Convention, which means they cannot be traded between countries. Dichlorane plus. Remember what is dichlorane plus? It is a flame retardant. UV328 is a stabilizer. Ultraviolet radiation 328 is a stabilizer. Dichlorane plus is flame retardant. Now other things that you have to remember, very important of Stockholm Convention is, Stockholm Convention is legally binding. Very important. India is a party to it since 2006, and India has passed regulations on POP in 2018 under Environmental Protection Act. All these are very, very important. I repeat, it is legally binding treaty. India is a part of that. India has passed regulations on POP under Environmental Protection Act. Under which act it has made? Environmental Protection Act. Now persistent organic pollutants are also known as forever chemicals. Forever chemicals. So this is about POP. Just remember Stockholm Convention is a POP, United Nations Environment Programs Stockholm Convention. This is the program of UNEP. India is a party to it. This is legally binding treaty, and India has passed this resolution to regulate POPs under Environmental Protection Act, and these are also known as forever chemicals. Apart from that, you have other things such as Basel Conventions. Now Basel Convention is for transboundary movement of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste. If you are transferring hazardous waste from one country to other country, Basel Conventions are going to come. And the second one is Rotterdam Convention. I already said this. Rotterdam Convention, whenever you come across this, remember persistent organic, prior informed consent. The Rotterdam Convention is a prior informed consent. This is about the chemicals and fertilizers in international trade. Recently, two chemicals were added to this list. If you have heard my Astra, you will be able to answer. Those who have heard this Astra, what are the two chemicals which were added under Rotterdam Convention of prior informed consent recently? Please comment that in the comment section given below in this video, so that I'll be able to follow who are following this religiously. So these are the things that we have. for current affairs. So I repeat, which are important for this. Rotterdam Convention is for, remember, prior informed consent. Next one is Basel Convention for transboundary movement of hazardous waste. Stockholm Convention is for persistent organic pollutants. It is an UNEP program. India is a party to it. It is legally binding, and India has made a law on this as per Environmental Protection Act. Remember the name Giorgia Meloni, belonging to Right Brothers of Italy party. Now, what are the advantages of satellite broadband communication? Low latency. It eliminates the use of fibers. It is going to connect hilly terrains, and thereby digital divide is going to reduce. And negatives is data transfer is going to be very less. If you are under a tree or a thick foliage, the communications can be very difficult. And the third one is it is a bit costly also, and beyond certain latitude, you cannot have this. Remember what is this Baltic Sea countries? Just remember the names. Nord Stream pipeline is in news. It is the pipeline. This is two pipelines which are connecting or which are transmitting gas from Russia to the so-called uh, Europe. In Russia, you have to remember one place called one gas pipeline called Zaporizhzhia, Gazprom, Gazprom, Gazprom is Russian owned gas manufacturing company, right? After this, you have India abstained from voting in United Nations Security Council on this resolution, right? These are the states, or these are the parts which Russia has annexed: Kherson, Zaporizhzhia, Donetsk, and Luhansk. Crimea was annexed way back in 2014. 5G launched by Prime Minister. International Electromagnetic Fields Project. Electromagnetic Fields Project International is the project of WHO. Remember that. After that, inflation. I'll take a separate concept on inflation. UAE's new immigration rules, and then Swachh Bharat Swachhta Sarvekshan, Gramin, Telangana, followed by Haryana and Tamil Nadu. These are the things that we have to remember. I hope you are enjoying this. Please subscribe, share to your friends, so that we'll get an initiative to do more. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.